जय भारत। हम लोग लास्ट क्लास में बात कर रहे थे क्या, डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ ऑप्टिकल लेंसेज। ओके, आज हम लोग बात करेंगे रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर क्या है। पहले व्हाट इज़ रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर, फिर we will go through those different assessment process that is mainly that comes under that clinical refraction process, which is different kind of refraction, okay, by which you can find out the type of refractive error and the amount of refractive error. So before going to that, what is a refractive error, that we will talk about in today's class. ओके अच्छा, तुम लोगों में से किन किन को रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर का आइडिया है, मतलब तुमको पता है कि व्हाट इज रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर एंड व्हाट द स्पेशलाइजेशन एंड द स्पेसिफिकेशन ऑफ दैट रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर। किन किन को मालूम है कमेंट करके बताओ, और जिनको मालूम नहीं है, पहली बार देख रहे हो ये वीडियो और पहली बार सुन रहे हो ये टर्म रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर क्या है, सी आई ऑलवेज से दैट नेम डिफाइन इटसेल्फ। Refractive, that means refraction and error, right? That means when there is a refraction is happening but in a abnormal way, okay, in a error means if there is a kind of abnormality, right? So that is the thing, refraction is happening but in an abnormal way. And this refraction, where it is happening, this refraction is happening in the eye, right? Now we know the total dioptric power of refractive error, you know. I hope you people know what is the total dioptric value of eye, right? Total dioptric value is total power of eye, that you know, that is a 60 diopter, right? Okay, 60 diopter. अच्छा, अब ये 60 diopter डिफाइन है, डिवाइडेड है और it distributed, okay? It is distributed in a two scenario, is a 43 diopter and the if it is 17 or 20 diopter, right? Which is a corneal power and this is a crystalline lens power, okay? This is the total value of a eye power, okay? Now this total 60 diopter, it is divided into this part, okay? Now we know about the anatomy of the eye, right? We have those transparent refractive medium, okay, through which that light get refracted, including this, there's a cornea, there's a crystalline lens, okay? So that every refractive medium that we have, it has their own ability that they can bend the light rays, okay, because depend on the curvature of that particular medium, ठीक है? अच्छा, अब हम लोग क्या जानते हैं कि कॉर्निया या लेंस सबका एक सेट साइज है। अब when the parallel light rays, they comes from infinity, okay, and they passes through a cornea, है ना, and they are focusing on they will focus on a particular point, right? They will focus on a particular point, that we know. Now this point is deciding that ki we will see a clear image or a blur image. Now the scenario is like a refractive error is a refraction abnormality and refraction is happening in the eye. When the refraction is happening, that means when the light rays are going through a refractive medium, they will bend, okay? So here is also these light rays are bending, right? Now they will bend and they will focus on that particular point that we called as a focal point, okay? At that focal point they will focus. Now in our eyes anatomy, so there is a retina, okay, that we know. So to get a clear image, those parallel light rays has to be focused on the retina to get a clear image, right? And to focus on retina, that different refractive medium that helps us to focus on that retina, right? And that is how the process goes. Now in this scenario we can see that parallel light rays are coming and it is bending and it is focusing on a particular point. If we suggest this is a focal point, this is F, right? And if we suggest, if we say that this is retina, if this is retina, that means parallel light rays are coming from infinity. After that, going through a refractive medium, they are focusing on the retina. That is a focal point also, right? That means we are able to see a clear image, and this condition we are calling it as a ametrope. What we are calling is ametropia. We are calling it as a ametropia. E, that start with E, ametropia. That means that's a normal phenomenon that we are having. Now जो लोग चश्मा पहनते हैं, ठीक है, उनका क्या, वही वाला फंडा हम अभी जानेंगे. That is what the refractive error, because this is a normal refraction that is happening. Okay. Now error means when the light rays are not focusing on the retina. When the light rays are not focusing on the retina, they are focusing before the retina, in front of the retina, okay, or they are focusing behind the retina, okay. That any one scenario is happening, okay, there is a error. Means if the light rays are not focusing on the retina, that means the images that we will perceive, that will be blur. There will be a blur image, okay. This is, and we will get a blurry image. So we will, whenever we are getting those blurry image, okay, and we does not feel good. So yeah, this is how it goes. Now this is what the ametropia is. Now coming to the second part of this is a myopia, hypermetropia and astigmatism. Now first we will talk about myopia, right? And most of you know about this myopia condition, which is a trending condition in recent scenario, okay, because in 2026 we are around 35 to 37% people are suffering from myopic condition in India. This is the prevalence rate, this is the ratio. See, this is the most common refractive error that people are having right now. Okay, and because that is just because of that excessive near work, excessive screen work, not doing any kind of external activity. That is why the scenario is coming. Now coming to the myopia is what is the scenario of this myopia? Now this myopia is when that parallel light rays, they are not focusing on the retina, they are focusing in front of the retina. If this is a retina, this is R, okay. If this is a retina, they are focusing in front of the retina, okay. And the scenario is like images are that see image when if we see the optics, light rays are going through, after refractive medium there will be image creation of the image, right? But that image, as that image is created, or that is focusing before the retina, okay, there will be a blurry image that will create, and this condition we are calling it as a myopia, okay, when light rays are focused before the retina, okay, in front of the retina. And for this also we have to give them the correction, right? And because our target is to focus, to keep those, to bring those light rays on the retina, bring those light rays on the retina. This is our focus, okay. And anyhow that we have to do this. Then what we do, that we put those concave lenses. We put those concave lenses so that the light rays, they get diverged, okay. तो जितना diverge होगा तो उतना दूर जाके फिर focus होगा. समझ में आ रहा है ना? And this myopia that happens mostly in the case of that steep cornea, or if the axial length are more, okay. And we know that the normal axial length we are having, that is 23 to 25 mm, right? If the axial length is bigger than that, so there will be a myopic condition will happen. The chances of happening this myopia is there. And if the cornea is steep मतलब क्या है? Cornea steep मतलब cornea ज़्यादा curve है. कर्व जो है cornea का curvature बहुत ज़्यादा है. मतलब दोनों का difference क्या समझ पा रहे हो? दोनों का कैसा होना चाहिए curvature? दिखाई दे रहा है क्या? हाँ, दोनों curvature एक होता है ऐसा curvature और क्या होता है ऐसा, ठीक है? दोनों का curvature देखो डिफरेंस समझ में आ रहा है? सो ये जो डिफरेंस है दैट डज हैपन इफ द कॉर्निया बिकम स्टिफ, तो माइपिया होगा। ये तो मेजर कंडीशन है जहाँ पे माइपिया क्रिएट होता है। नाउ वी आर आई थिंक समझ में आया होगा आप लोगों को माइपिया क्या चीज़ है, कैसे हम करेक्ट कर सकते हैं। नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू दैट हाइपरमेट्रोपिया, ठीक है। नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू हाइपरमेट्रोपिया, ठीक है। So this hypermetropia, there is a prevalence rate of 17 to 18% people. 17 to 18% people are suffering from hypermetropia. Okay, and the scenario of hypermetropia is same, like the parallel light rays are coming from infinity. Okay, now there is a refractive medium, and they will focus on a particular point. Right now, if this point is behind the retina, then it will become a blurry image, and the scenario is happening is a hypermetropia. Whenever the light rays are not focusing on the retina, they are focusing behind the retina, okay, and yeah, they are focusing behind the retina, and the scenario is happening, that is why hypermetropia, right? And in this case also there will be a blurry image, because of that they are not focusing on the retina. So whenever the light rays will focus on the retina, so then only there will be a chance of getting that clear image will there. Okay, now this myopia, which we can call as a nearsightedness, and this hypermetropia that we can call as a farsightedness, because of that in that condition, okay, जो कंडीशन की हम बात करें उसमें वो ज़्यादा क्लियर दिखता है, ठीक है। अच्छा, this is what is that hypermetropia and the myopia is, and this is what the hypermetropia. Now in this most, अच्छा जो हम एक चीज़ और है कि in this hypermetropia what is important is कि in hypermetropia most of the young children, if they suffer from the hypermetropia na, they can overcome this by the accommodation they are having. Okay, this is the only scenario where they can use their accommodation and they can compensate this amount of refractive error they are having. They can compensate, so that sometimes if people is coming with the 0.5 diopter of hyperopia, and they can overcome that amount of hyperopia by the accommodation itself. So yeah, this is what the hyperopia is. And next we have another condition is the astigmatism. Okay, and the astigmatism is when the light rays they focus in both the scenario. Okay, they are not focusing on a particular point. Okay, they are focusing on that two different distances, like in front and the back surface. Okay, like the way usually in the cornea. Okay, they are not perfectly focused on that particular point, and what they do, they actually focus on that different meridian. Okay, so and astigmatism, when there is astigmatism, that astigmatism happens when the corneal curvature, that cornea, that is not fully spherical. The astigmatism happens when the cornea, the curvature of the cornea, that is not spherical in all the meridian. Okay, they are different in particular meridians. Okay, and then this astigmatism occurs. Okay, and that happens, and in this case also the light rays does not focus on the retina, and we get blurry image. Okay, and then we have to give them those scenario. Okay, and see, and this for hyperopia and myopia, we get those single focal point, one focal point, but this is the condition, this astigmatism, where we get two focal point. Clear? So this is what is about the all about. This is all about the refractive error of our eye. Okay, and that we can correct with different process. And for this astigmatism, we can say that is 13 to 15% prevalence rate we are having. Sorry, there's a amount of 30 to 35% of prevalence in astigmatism. तो प्रिविलेज मतलब इतना रेशियो, इतना जन का एस्टिमेटिज्म है इंडिया में, एंड सबसे ज़्यादा मायोपिया है लोगों को। तो उसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए, हमने वो अभी बोला, इसके लिए हम अलग से क्लास करेंगे, एक स्पेशल क्लास करेंगे। अगर तुम लोगों को इंटरेस्ट लगा तो, अगर तुम लोगों को लगा कि सर से और थोड़ा डिटेल्स में जाना है और थोड़ा अच्छे से डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं तो हम लोग बात करेंगे, ठीक है। अच्छा, ये है ऐसा वाला, और कुछ नहीं छूट रहा है फिलहाल। रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर, फिलहाल रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर ऑफ द आई ये इतना जान के रखो, ठीक है। That's the emetropia and all the scenarios we are discussing, right? We have discussed myopia, hypermetropia, astigmatism, that comes under the ametropia. That's a ametropia, right? That means there is a abnormality. That A means abnormality. Okay, that ametropia. So that ametropia and this all comes under the ametropia. This is all about the refractive error and how we can assess, how we can find out, हाउ वी कैन फाइंड आउट अ पर्टिकुलर पर्सन इज हैविंग अ रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर। मतलब जैसे मेरे पास, मैं चश्मा नहीं पहनता, ठीक है, अब मुझे रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर है कि नहीं कैसे पता चलेगा? और किसी और, अगर तुम्हें भी, तुम चश्मा नहीं पहनते सोच लो, ठीक है, अब तुम्हें कैसे पता चलेगा कि तुम्हारे पास रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर है कि नहीं, है ना? क्योंकि तुमको लग रहा है कि तुमको क्लियर दिख रहा है दूर की चीज़ें और कांच के नज़दीक की चीज़ें, तो तुमको क्या लगेगा तुम्हारे पास रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर नहीं होगा। इसका मतलब तो ये नहीं कि रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर नहीं है ना? वी हैव सम प्रोसेस, वी हैव सम टेक्निकल प्रोसीड्यूर दैट वी कैन फॉलो, दैट वी फॉलो, और वो हम लोग बात करेंगे नेक्स्ट क्लास में, ठीक है। आशा करता हूँ आज का जो जितना भी है सब आपको समझ में आया होगा। अगर कुछ भी डाउट हो, कुछ भी क्वेरी हो तो आप कमेंट करके बताइए, ठीक है। जय भारत।